Bad Dog is the 18th episode of the 5th season of Frasier. This is directed by Pamela Fryman, and as always there will be spoilers from now as I go through the episode and share some thoughts. And I thought this was pretty fantastic. I'd seen this episode before, but it's been quite a while, so I couldn't remember exactly what happened. And I'd say this is a very unpredictable episode. It starts off in Cafe Nervosa. We find out that it's time for the CBs again, and it's very busy at the moment because Frasier had put in a suggestion or a complaint, and, well, it's causing a big line. And Frasier happens to see somebody with a gun, and he says, there's a gun, and Bulldog uses, well, actually I won't say what happens just now. Bulldog does something and it makes him look like a hero. And that seems to be the story for now. We're then in the apartment and Niles is there. He reveals he's been nominated for an award because of a particular talk he did, which is quite exciting. And then the gunman, the story, was on the news and people were saying that Bulldog is a hero because he threw hot coffee on the gunman, which is exactly what looked like happened. But Frasier knows the truth. And Frasier explains that that's not what happened. When he heard that there was a gunman, Bulldog thought it was somebody else, somebody who was reaching into their jacket, and he used Roz as a human shield to put distance between himself and the person he thought was the gunman. And in doing so, as he swung around, he spilled his hot coffee accidentally on the actual gunman. So yes, in theory, it was because of Bulldog that the gunman fled, but not because of his own intentions. And now everybody's calling him a hero, and the cafe's offered him a lifetime supply of muffins, and Daphne trying to work out how many muffins that would be was very amusing. Even more amusing was the expressions of Martin, Niles, and Frasier. And Frasier's really unsettled by this, and he's down at KCL, and he confronts Bulldog. Bulldog asks him not to tell anybody, and Frasier says he won't have to because Bulldog's conscience will get the better of him. He will tell people on his own. And then Roz announces that Bulldog's getting a hero award at the CBs. So Bulldog's very happy. Frasier is confident that he won't be collecting that award though. And we'll come back to that in a bit. We're then back at the apartment. Niles and Daphne are practicing his facial expressions for when he wins his CB, which was tremendous fun. And Frasier then comes home. He's starting to feel quite irritated because he's concerned that actually Bulldog won't fall to his conscience and actually he will go ahead with collecting the award. And Frasier realizes it's not so much the fact that Bulldog would get away with this lie, it's more the fact that it would mean he's living in a world where somebody's conscience doesn't get the better of them and that they're not driven by their conscience. And that actually is quite a scary thought. And I'm sure, well, there are people out there whose actions are not affected by their conscience at all. And that's a very, very terrifying thought. And Frasier's decided he's going to go to bed, and the others are saying how much of a change it is, because usually Frasier would let it eat away at him and he'd go around and see Bulldog, and in the background we can see Frasier slipping out of the apartment. And Daphne amused me a lot when she said, I should have told him to pick up some more milk. They knew full well what was going on, and I rather enjoyed that. And he goes to Bulldog's apartment, and Bulldog is there with women, and he tells Bulldog that he will be so overcome with guilt by the awards that there is no way he would be able to collect that award. And it seems like Frasier has a plan. We then cut to the awards. Really nice environment. Honestly, I love Roz's dress. I wouldn't want to wear it, but it really stands out. Very, very shiny. Really enjoyed that a lot. And poor Niles had to go and sit with the tech awards. Not as swanky, but thankfully he actually comes back into the main room pretty quickly. His awards, he didn't win, unfortunately, and his awards were over and done with quickly, so he's in the main room, and Frasier is presenting all of the awards, and then he gets to Bulldog's award. And his surprise for Bulldog is that he's invited various people from Bulldog's childhood, his priest, his teachers, the young president of his current fan club, and Bulldog's mother. And it seems like maybe for a tiny second Bulldog won't accept the award, but then he does. And it was very unpredictable at that point. Frasier was sitting at his table, completely just astounded that his conscience didn't get to him. And Martin says, that he's never going to hear the end of it, is he? So Martin, and I think this is also very unpredictable, Martin kind of whispers to Bulldog, that person's got a gun, but loud enough for everybody else to hear. And obviously everybody turns around, and they turn around to see Bulldog using his own mother as a shield. And honestly, it was funny. I thought it was very unpredictable. It worked very well. And obviously in that moment, everybody realised that Bulldog's not necessarily the hero that everybody thinks he is. So Frasier's happy, Bulldog's not, and Martin was quite sly there. So I thought this was a really great episode. Definitely some interesting thoughts about conscience and the fact that not everybody is as driven by their conscience as others. It doesn't paint Bulldog in a very good light, but he's still a really brilliant character. Personal highlights from this episode. Actually, Niles in the hat. I didn't mention that, but in the second scene, Niles is wearing a hat that's a little different to what he'd normally wear, and I quite liked it. Daphne and her muffin counting, Niles practicing his winner's face, and, well, Roz's dress. I did very, very eye-catching. I thought it was, maybe that's what Roz has a problem with, but I liked it. And, well, Martin saving things for Frasier right at the end there. It's a really great episode. Really thoroughly enjoyed it. Very well written. Very unpredictable. Bad Dog is definitely a really solid episode of Frasier.